And it led to one of my favorite moments in the script where she's literally looking death in the face and she just simply says no.
Well, hello, I'm Mandy from Real Talk Interviews. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? By the way, I just have to say your bookcase behind you is epic. I'm
It's
obsessed.
my number one thing that people comment me on, and I feel like so great about it.
What's your favorite series that you've read?
Well, now I have to say Shadowhunters.
No,
I mean,
you don't. No, you don't. You say whatever you
but it's
want.
so good. Anything like romance or like fantasy, like anything romance is my go-to. So it's all on
I'm
my.
I'm a huge fan of the genre. It's what I listen to while I run on audiobook. So I'm a fan.
I'm so excited to talk about your newest film, High Ground. It's amazing. When I saw your character Cassie, I was like, she is such a girl boss. Like she's just such a strong female lead. So I'm wondering, can you talk a little bit about her character and kind of getting to play someone as tough as she is and like what that kind of felt like?
Absolutely. Well, when I first read the script, it was interesting because I've done a lot of action films, but playing a woman in an action film that isn't the one who's doing a ton of the action was a new thing for me. And so I sort of did a lot of thinking about who Cassie is and what she provides and what she brings to the table. And I kept going back to the scene where Nathaniel's locked up in the bathroom and she brings him a glass of water. So she's the only one who's really kind to him, but she's also the one that tells him what for and holds his feet to the fire about his moral compass. And there was something about the strength in that and the fearlessness in that and how much of an immovable object she was in the way the aspect of emotional strength. But another journalist brought this up to me earlier today was the spice that she brings with it. She gets a little spicy sometimes. I said to James Bamford, who's the director, I said, look, I'd love to bring more of that out in her. And so they were very open and collaborative in developing the character from where she was in the original script. And we sort of leaned into that, and it led to one of my favorite moments in the script where she's literally looking death in the face and she just simply says no. And it's that wonderful moment of it's all the women I was raised by. It's all the women I've been surrounded with my whole life who, no matter what is happening, chaos or despair or whatever it might be, can be surrounding you. And they just simply say, no, we're going to find the joy and we're going to find the better life and we are going to get through this and survive together. And it's that became Cassie, is this kind of immovable strength of emotion and of steadfast faith throughout this film, that is so classic in so many westerns. You have the woman who becomes the emotional core and the emotional stronghold for everyone else as chaos is flying around them.
I love how you said she was the anchor. She definitely acts as that, and I saw that throughout the whole film. And obviously, this film has a lot of scenes between you and actors Charlie Weber, John Voight. They're all really talented, and I'm sure you have like some memorable moments that stood out. Did they teach you anything that you're going to take with you for your next filming projects, and kind of how that felt acting with them?
Each one of them brought my favorite thing that an actor can ever bring to the set, which is the openness and the willingness to collaborate and play and find these people together, especially when you're doing a film that takes place in a small town. These people have known each other their whole lives. They've known each other forever. And when you have these kind of relationships where you've probably known your in-laws since kindergarten and you've known your future partner for most of your lives and you kind of know everything about each other, it creates this beautiful dynamic that Cassie is so willing and ready to love Jake for every part of himself and already does love him for who he is in every situation, even if he doesn't necessarily love all those parts of himself. And they're at this point in their relationship where either he has to be able to love himself in order to allow this relationship to happen, or she's going to have to move on. And ultimately, this story brings them even closer together, and which is the happy ending version of that situation. But it's really wonderful to see these people kind of interacting in that way, and that was really only made possible by people like John and Charlie and Henry and James, who plays our wonderfully delicious villain.
And such a
Oh,
good
he's so good. Oh, he's so beautifully delicious. But it really comes from their willingness to play and to find those moments of magic on screen.
Yeah, I love that. And for me, honestly, that story was a story of trust and hope. And I just like loved how that's a common theme around all like Westerns. But I just, yeah, this film in particular really like hit me. And obviously, stunts are a huge part of this film, a lot of action films. And this is obviously clearly was not your first time doing some action scenes. You're like an expert by now. But I'm wondering, like, how is preparing for these scenes and these action sequences? Do they differ among the different projects, or did you kind of feel confident going into this one?
I mean, this one was really, it was all pieces of action that I'd done before and different, skills I was familiar with, and also the same stunt folks that I worked with on Air Force One Down the year prior with James Bamford. So it was really just coming home and, fighting the same guys I fought a year ago. And that makes it all the more fun though, because you've already established that level of trust and that level of mutual respect of they know what I'm capable of. I know how amazing they are to work with. And then it's just fun. That you're in it already and you have relationships with people. And also, you're shooting nights. So it's hard and it's tough and everyone's sleepy. But when you're spending it with people that you genuinely enjoy and care about, it makes it all the worthwhile.
And when I was seeing Cassie, I was also seeing Clary. When you get into playing characters that are very similar, do you have similar processes or do they still differ between all the projects?
I mean, I think in general, my process tends to be similar, although different characters I find different characters in different ways, but to me, it always comes down to finding something that I can relate to in the character, some piece of myself that I can connect with who they are that becomes kind of the key. And then between that and then dissecting, why they make the choices they do and who they are and why they behave in the ways that they do and what drives that and what's the source of that. Which is my favorite part about what I get to do is being that chameleon and getting to sort of figure out why these people are the way they are.
Mhm.
Um, and then bringing that to life and continuing that through the course of the story. That's where the differentiation really comes into play. And that's where you really get to find these women. And I've been very lucky and I'm so grateful to have played so many strong girl boss characters throughout my career. And getting to find those differences between them. It's something I really thought about when I was going from Shadowhunters to Arrow. I wanted to make sure that, these are two women that fight that have, not necessarily powers in the sense of Mia, but are powerful in their own way, and making sure that they were two distinct people was the fun and the challenge of that. And same goes for this. But when it came down to Cassie, these are the women I was raised by. These women that are unwavering and strong and fascinatingly superhuman in their own right, in the way that they are just able to be there and support and spearhead these kind of immense human efforts in the people that they love is really incredible. And I'm very grateful to have been raised by women like that, and hopefully to do some honor by them by bringing them to life on screen.
I too have been raised by such strong women, and I feel like women empower women. And so now that you are inspired, you're inspiring a whole other like generation. I feel like because you have such a dedicated fan base, obviously, like we're still sitting here years and years later. Just how does it feel for all those support to kind of just be with every project that you go along?
I mean, I'm truly in awe and I'm forever grateful. I love what I do for a living, and it's the greatest joy of my life to get to tell these stories and bring these characters to life, and to get to go to work every day doing something that I'm truly passionate about. I recognize how lucky I am and what a gift that is. And the fact that these stories that I put blood, sweat, and tears literally into telling, oftentimes, the fact that it means something to someone out in the world, and it brings someone joy or makes someone think or inspires someone to find that strength within themselves. That's the biggest gift for me. And I think in this world we have become so divided, and I mean that's a major theme of this film is coming together as a community and being there to support each other. But film in and of itself is a universal language and a unifier of humanity in so many ways. And to be even a small part of that force for good in the world is a beautiful thing, in my opinion.
Like you're doing all these films, they're all mean something, they're all storytelling. And I feel like by now that you've done Shadowhunters, Arrow, now High Ground, is there anything next for you? Would you like to be a part of more projects similar, or would you like to like what is there anything that you're manifesting right now for yourself?
Oh, Anything and everything. I mean, look, I miss so many things. I miss playing Clary. That story will forever live rent free in my head. I became an adult on that set. I grew up with Clary and as Clary, and that will always hold a special place in my heart. But also, if the Green Arrow ever wants to make an appearance in the DC universe, if
Yes.
Gunn is looking, I volunteer as tribute.
I volunteer you for tribute.
Mean, I'll take it. But even if Walker Independence could ever have another life, if Shadowhunters could ever have another life, I would go back to any of those worlds in a heartbeat. But also that's the fun of being an actor is every character that I play becomes something special and meaningful, at least to me. But I do have a few things, some of which I can't quite talk about yet. I have a film called The Queen's Jewels, which is coming out later this year. It's very Outer Banks meets National Treasure. It's a bunch of young people in the jungle finding treasure and hoping to best the bad guys in the process. And it was such a joy to film. The cast and crew on that were extraordinary, and we had the best time despite the jungle and the feral cows and the sweat and everything else we went through on that
Well,
film.
now you know I have to watch that. I'm already in. You've sold me.
I
Like,
mean, it's great. It's great, but so is high ground. It's one of those things where no matter where you go in the world, whether it's the Dominican Republic where we shot Queen's Jewels, or Toronto where we shot Shadowhunters, or Bulgaria where we shot High Ground, you're going to find a beautiful film community. And it's all of the incredible artists and incredible technicians and people that come together to do what they do best and collaboratively tell a story that is kind of the beauty of what we do for a living.
yeah, no, I absolutely love that. And I'm so excited to see more communities come together because of it. I'm so excited to see people see high ground. Yeah, so overall, I'm just really excited to see kind of where we all go next.
Thank you
So
so
yeah,
much.
thank you so much for chatting with me today and talking about all the things. It's been so amazing to see your career grow firsthand. And so I can't wait to speak with you hopefully soon.
Thank you. Bye.